Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something today that could totally change the college experience. It's called Uni Experts.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, so picture this. It's like a marketplace, but just for students, where they can buy and sell services from each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, like anything from tutoring to, think about it, authentic Finnish sauna experiences. I don't know why that popped into my head.
Well, it's a pretty fascinating model, right? And Tribe Networks, they're the creators, and their argument is that this has been a long time coming.
Right, and it's kind of wild that in, this day and age where we have, everything on demand,
Right.
there isn't a central place for students to, to tap into each other's skills and hustle. When I think back to my college days, just trying to find some kind of work that was flexible was trying to find a parking spot during finals week,
Yeah.
impossible.
And that's a great point, right? Because that's where Uni Experts gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because the creators are really emphasizing the potential for this to go way beyond your typical services.
Okay.
Like tutoring or moving, help, the practical stuff to a space for genuine cultural exchange.
Wow.
Where, for example, an international student could share their cooking skills
Okay.
or offer language lessons.
Okay, now you're speaking my language,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
I could have used this back in the day when I was trying to, let's just say my attempts at international cooking did not go as planned. Let's just leave it at that.
Right.
But, with Uni Experts, you could have, picture a student who's, really struggling with a coding assignment.
Finding help from a classmate, right?
Right.
Or someone launching their own little photography business,
Yeah.
all within the campus community.
And that's what I think is really cool, that real-world application of skills.
Yeah.
It's not just hey, entrepreneurship is important. It's forcing students to grapple with things like pricing their services, marketing themselves, handling clients.
It's like a built-in incubator for their career.
Exactly.
So how does this all actually work? Is it as simple as it sounds?
So from a user perspective, yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. You sign up using your university and email address. You create a listing that details the service you're offering, and this is where you can get creative. And then, boom, you're like a campus entrepreneur.
But the thing that I found interesting is they're incorporating something called discrete Social Security matching as part of their security measures.
Hold on. Discrete Social Security matching. Okay, now you've got my attention. Walk me through how that works and, more importantly, I think, how they're making sure student privacy isn't, thrown out the window.
Yeah, so essentially it seems like it's a multi-layered verification process. So they're using that school email verification,
Okay.
phone verification, and then this added layer of discretely matching provided information against Social Security records.
Oh, wow.
Just for an extra layer of kind of security and making sure everything is
To
legit.
verify.
Yeah. Now, the details are a little bit scant in terms of the specifics, but it seems to be a way to combat fake profiles and really boost that user trust.
Which makes a lot of sense because, you want a secure platform, especially when we're talking about financial transactions and things like that.
Absolutely.
But it also, highlights this interesting tension, don't you think? Where it's balancing security with privacy. That's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I think, a key question for Uni Experts going forward.
Yeah.
How do they maintain that balance as they grow?
Okay, so we've talked about the why and the how,
Mm-hmm.
but let's talk about the who. Who benefits from this? For students, on the surface, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Extra cash.
Right.
You can start building your resume, maybe even launch a side hustle.
Absolutely.
But for universities themselves, what's in it for them?
Well, universities are always looking for new and innovative ways to enhance the student experience,
That's
to
true.
attract new applicants and kind of boost their reputation.
Of course, yeah.
And, Uni Experts seems to check those boxes.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just about the academics anymore, right?
Mhm.
It's about creating a more holistic and engaging university experience. And Uni Experts, I feel like with this focus on practical skills and real world experience could be a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine university being able to say, we have this thriving, student-run marketplace,
Yeah, like a little hub.
a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That's pretty compelling.
That's a good selling point.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about, the students. What are they saying about this whole thing?
So from the feedback that the creators shared, it seems like students are kind of cautiously optimistic,
Okay.
Like one student mentioned finding the platform really useful and said that they would definitely use it to sell their services.
Oh, okay.
And then another student pointed out that this could be a really good way to connect students like across Finland,
Right.
giving them access to a way, way broader range of skills and experiences than they might find just, on their own campus.
It's almost like creating this like microcosm of the gig economy,
Right.
but specifically for students with like its own unique opportunities and, challenges. And speaking of challenges, like I'm wondering, how do they plan to handle disputes?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like what happens if someone feels like they were cheated or a service wasn't delivered as promised?
Yeah, that's a really crucial point. And to be honest, one that the creators haven't totally addressed yet.
Okay.
They're going to need some kind of robust dispute resolution system, right?
Yeah.
Maybe something that involves mediation or like a rating system, kind of similar to what you'd see on Airbnb.
Right. Yeah.
Or TaskRabbit, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then also, we can't forget about like the potential for exploitation here.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Could this lead to students like underselling their skills because they're, desperate for cash?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or on the flip side, students who maybe have more resources kind of cornering the market.
Right. And those are really, I think, valid concerns. And it kind of highlights the potential downsides of any shared economy, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how Uni Experts ends up navigating like these issues.
Right.
Maybe by doing something like implementing like guidelines on pricing.
Okay.
Or like offering workshops on how to, value your skills appropriately, things like that. I think transparency is going to be super important here, both from the platform and from the students that are actually using it.
Absolutely. Because the whole thing, the success of this, like hinges on trust.
Yeah.
Right. Trust between the students and trust in the platform itself. So it'd be really fascinating to see how all of that like evolves as Uni Experts moves from like this concept to, an actual real thing that people are using.
And speaking of that, like the creators have actually outlined a pretty like phased implementation plan.
Okay.
And it seems like they're starting with this like very thorough consultation with each individual university,
Okay.
to make sure that the platform is actually aligned with their needs.
Right. So they're not just trying to like shoehorn it in.
Exactly. Like they want to integrate seamlessly with existing systems,
It's like they're making a custom-made suit for each university.
Right. Exactly.
Which makes a lot of sense because their needs are so diverse. But what happens, after that initial like tailoring, how do they get everyone on board?
Training, for sure. For both staff and students, it's going to be really crucial. Uni Experts really needs to be intuitive and user-friendly. Otherwise, it just becomes, another app on a student's phone that they forget about.
Another icon, yeah. And they can't afford to just be like another app. They want to be a part of that university like ecosystem.
Right, exactly.
So, okay, they've got the technology down. They've rolled out the training. What's like the final like...
The grand finale.
Yeah, the final step in the grand plan.
So it seems like their plan is to do like a soft launch, Start small, which will let them gather feedback, work out any kinks, and really crucially, I think, gauge student engagement, see how people are interacting with it. And then once they have a really good handle on all of that, then they'll transition to like a paid model. Yeah. And I'm assuming it'll be something like user membership fees, but we don't know for sure.
That's a very cautious approach, which I have to say I kind of appreciate. It shows that they're not just trying to like, make a quick buck and bounce.
Right.
They're thinking long term about how to like build a sustainable platform.
And honestly, that's where the real test is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Can Uni Experts maintain that appeal, that functionality, once those user fees kick in?
Because students are, I don't know, they're pretty...
They're savvy.
Savvy. They are. They know how to sniff out a deal, and they're very used to not having to pay for certain things.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that is the like $1 million question, isn't it?
It is.
Will students actually be willing to pay for something that they're used to getting like for free?
Right.
Even with all the, the bells and whistles that Uni Experts is like, promising.
Yeah. It's definitely a gamble. But, I mean, think about it. Students already pay for convenience and connection in so many other parts of their lives, right?
That's true.
Like from streaming services to food delivery apps and everything in between. Like it's all about, in a way, simplifying and enhancing that college experience.
Right.
And Uni Experts is kind of tapping into that same, I don't know, like desire.
Yeah, and honestly, convenience often trumps everything, I feel like, especially these days.
For sure.
But, it's not even just about the convenience factor. Like, Uni Experts is really tapping into this, like, larger trend I think we're seeing with, like, the whole passion economy thing, right?
Absolutely.
Like, people wanting to monetize their skills and, build their own brand, even if it's just a side hustle while they're, like, going to school and studying and all that.
Yeah, and Uni Experts could be, like, a really good kind of stepping stone for those students that are, like, maybe a little bit hesitant to, go all in.
Right.
It's like a way to dip their toes into the entrepreneurial waters without, like, all of the risk.
Exactly, yeah. Like, lower stakes, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see the next big thing come out of this platform.
Right.
What started as a student just, like, selling their, like, handmade jewelry on the side.
Right.
Or offering, like, graphic design services to their classmates,
Yeah.
Who knows? That could be, like, $1 billion idea.
Yeah.
It's a nice thought. It's a compelling story, I think. But, as with any good story, I'm sure there'll be some plot twists along the way, right?
Oh, for sure. And I think some of the biggest questions are going to revolve around the long-term impacts of a platform like this.
Yeah, like, how is this going to change the way students interact with each other?
Exactly.
Is it going to, like, create more inequality?
Right.
Or could it actually, like, level the playing field in some ways by providing opportunities for students who, might not have had them otherwise?
Right.
And then, like, how does this impact the universities themselves?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Will they become, like, too reliant on this platform to do things that maybe, like, they should be handling directly?
Right. Providing those services and that support to students directly rather than outsourcing it in a way.
It's a double-edged sword, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. It has the potential to be a really valuable tool, but it could also be super disruptive.
Yeah.
It all just depends on, like, how it's implemented,
right, how they use it,
how it's regulated, and ultimately, I think, how the university community actually embraces it.
Which is a perfect segue, because it brings us to you, our listeners.
Yes.
We want to know what you think. We've, like, dissected this concept, looked at the pros, the cons, all that. But now it's your turn. What do you think about Uni Experts? Would you use it if you were a student? What kind of concerns do you have? Head over to our website, let us know. And, that about wraps up our deep dive into Uni Experts. This is a platform that's definitely generating some buzz, I think.
For sure.
And sparking some, like, important conversations about the future of what it means to be a student, the whole university experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.